Hello, Scoreholio organizers and players. I'm going to show you how to run a set schedule switcholio today. A switcholio on the Scoreholio app is where a player will get a different partner every round, and our system makes sure that you never play with the same person twice or against a player more than two times for the full round robin. Now, a set schedule switcholio is a little different than our normal round robin. The set schedule is actually going to make an entire schedule. So you do have to have the perfect players, two courts. So for this, for instance, I have two courts and eight players because there's four players on the court at any given time. I'm going to go ahead and click the app right here. That's what it looks like, and it's going to bring you to the main page. I am doing this on pickleball, but any sport you can do this. And if you ever click the logo at the top, it will give you all of our sports to change to. Like I said, I'm going to do this as a pickleball example. The first thing I'm going to do is click this Run a Tournament tab. Now, it is going to ask you to make an account when you do that. And if you ever want to see our subscription levels, you can click on the top right and click Upgrade Plan and go ahead and check out all of our different subscription levels and find one that works for you. You can run unlimited tournaments on the free version, but if you do want player scoring, which is a really good one where players can score from their own devices, you will need competitive, which is about $5 a month or $50 for the year. So I already have a tournament set up here. It's Set Schedule Switcholio, but I'm going to go ahead and show you. I would have clicked this Create New button, and it would have popped up the form to go ahead and create it. I'm going to go ahead and click on mine and click Edit so I can show you what I did. I got the event name, date and time, all that good stuff. I do have mine set for private. That's going to keep it off of our Find a Tournament tab so other players can't see it. And then I would send a share link out to my friends, maybe via text or something like that, so that way they can join. I do have player scoring on, which means that they can score. The first one is the format, and that's going to be set schedule. Now, if you don't have perfect players to courts, right? So two courts, eight players. Let's say you had two courts, 10 players, you would want to use a round robin where it would put everybody into a coming up section and go ahead and feed everybody onto the courts. But for this one, since we have two courts, eight players, we're going to do the set schedule, and the team generation is Switcholio. Now, we are going to do just single matches. We're not going to do best of three or must play three or anything like that. And the rank by, which is what the leaderboard will show, is going to be record then differential. And of course, like I said, I have two courts for this tournament. You get up to eight courts on the up to the advanced level of subscription and up to 16 courts per tournament on the pro version. All this other stuff, I'm going to kind of leave it alone. You can go to docs.scoreholio.com to check it out. I do have pre-registration on, like I mentioned earlier. I could make this a max of eight spots and actually turn on a wait list, which would be a good thing to do if you have, 15 friends, but you really have two courts and you just want to play with eight people. You would just go ahead and put max of eight there. We do have restrictions, all sorts of cool stuff. Go ahead and check all that out. If like we're going to be playing on actually courts five and six at the club, I would go ahead and change this to five and six under the advanced, and then I'm going to go ahead and click update, and that's going to bring me back to my tournament. Now, as mentioned, people can go ahead and pre-register. I'll show you how they do that. If I click this back button and go to the main screen, an organizer clicks run a tournament. There's also player profile, and here you're going to put your first name, last name, email again, and make a separate player account. Organizer and players are separate in this. So this is my player account, and if I go here to this Find a Tournament tab, that's where I can go ahead and find all the tournaments that are near me. I can filter through anything and go ahead and find anything. But I really want to click this Mine tab on the top right. And you can see I have Organizer highlighted, but you can also, highlight Player and find your tournament. But if I go ahead and click on that tournament as a player in the Find a Tournament tab, you're going to see this big green register button. And that's what your players would go ahead and click, and they would click register, and you can see that that's added me to the tournament. So now we have one player inside this tournament, one of eight, which you can see right there. Now, I'm going to go ahead and go back and show you a couple other ways that you can get people into a tournament. So if I go back to that Run a Tournament tab here and click on my tournament, I can click this check-in button here. And check-in, if you actually have players that have their devices, they can click this player profile button, and it's going to bring up their profile. So this is Phil's. And if I click this check-in button, it's going to bring up a QR code. And I can scan Phil's QR code and go ahead and add that player. So that's kind of fun if you just have everybody show up at the club. You're like, hey, whoever shows up, we're going to throw you in this tournament and go ahead and start it. If they don't have a QR code, you can always click manual add, and we can put, the Bob Smith is going to play. Now, you do want to use email if you want to be able to like in pickleball submit this to Duper, or if you want your players to have things tracked for them. But you can also check in pre-registered players. So you can see this purple button on the bottom left. If I click on that, I can go ahead and check in somebody here and confirm that they're here, and that checks them in. I'll show you another way to check them in from the admin, which we're going to go to right now. So if I go back and I click on our tournament right here, you'll notice there's a share button. If I click that share button, here's a QR code and a link that I can copy and go ahead and send that out to the players, to go ahead and pre-register like I showed you a minute ago. But now once I click this, I'm going to go ahead and click admin, and that's going to bring us into the tournament, where you'll notice we actually have three teams or players, because Switcholio is a team of one player. But there's Bob, who I manually entered, Phil, who I scanned in, and myself, who I pre-registered. If I come up here to the top, there's other ways to add players from the admin. Let's say that somebody's played with me before. I can click on this search existing players. So let's say Jasmine, and I can click on Jasmine and add Jasmine quickly to this tournament. So you'll see Jasmine right there. I can also manually add people here. So let's say this is Terry Smith right here. And I'm going to add Terry to pre-register because I'm not sure if Terry's going to show up. So I guess it's Terry Smoth because I don't know how to spell. But anyways, there's Terry and pre-register. Now you can click these little boxes here if you have a bunch of people you want to check in, or you could just go ahead and click on the blue team line and go ahead and check Terry in, and you'll notice that now I have 5 players. One other thing, if you have everybody pre-register, you can always click this self-check-in button and send an alert out to everybody and have them check themselves in. But I'm just going to go ahead and put in, Sherry S and Ryan T. And I think, is that 7? Let's check these people in, and see how many we have for this tournament now. I need one more, so we'll just call it one more. Is a fun name for somebody that actually just showed up. And I'm going to go ahead and add that player to the tournament as well and check them in. But you can see I have all of the players here. And I'm going to go ahead and scroll up to this set up schedule. So now I have all my 8 players here. Now, you could do this like a weekly thing. Like if you're doing a 5-week league and you had a bunch of players in here, you can always do that. But for this, it's like a one off. We're just playing on a Saturday morning. So I'm going to go ahead and click set up schedule. I'm going to click optimized. That's fine. You can learn more about optimized and time based schedules in our doc section. I'm not going to go over it here. I'm just going to go ahead and set this up. So number of weeks, 1. We're just playing 1 week. And let's say we all want to play, 7 matches today, because 8 players, if you play 7 matches, that means everybody's going to play everybody one time, right? So that's how it's always 1 minus the total number of players. I'm going to go ahead and click this create schedule button, and it's going to make the schedule with those 8 players and create every matchup for all of them to go ahead and play. So if we give it a second, it's going to go over to the schedule tab, and we can see the schedule right here. So we can see Ryan and T and Sherry are going to play Phil and one last. I can't remember what I named that person, but 1M. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to click this top left here, and I'm going to go to the round robin tab. And that's where we're going to go ahead and play everything. This is where the magic happens, right? So you'll notice there's a set active schedule right here. That's what we're going to go ahead and use to bring in week 1. Now, if we were doing multiple weeks, this is where you would bring in the next week after you're done with 1 week. But again, we're just playing on a Saturday morning. I'm going to go ahead and bring that schedule in, and you'll see that all 14 games for today just line up right there. And I'm going to go ahead and click advanced game. And that's going to send out the alerts to the players to go play on their courts. And you could just have them simply report their scores and say the score was 11-5 and click submit. And you'll notice it's not going to fill that court because we have the perfect amount of players to teams. It's going to wait until they're done. And if I do 11 to 2, you'll notice it's going to go ahead and fill both courts as soon as I submit that one because we're ready to go to the next round. Now, that's one way to score. Another way would be to let the players do it. So, if, as a player, remember, this is my player account. And just so you know, players do not have to pay to be able to score. But if they want to upgrade, they can go here and upgrade to SPR Plus. That will get rid of all those pesky ads that we have and make it easier for them to see everything. Anyways, I'm going to go back to this find a tournament tab. Remember, we're going to that mine tab. And now, because I'm a player in this tournament, you can see if that player oval is highlighted. Now I can see my tournament. I'm going to go ahead and click my tournament. And then I'm going to click on this blue dashboard button. And that's going to bring me to the tournament where you could see everything that's going on. You can, like, as a player, all your players could see this, and they can see the schedule, they can see the results, they can go see the standings and see every game that's being played here. But I'm going to go back to this court assignments tab, and you'll notice score Ben, that's me. I'm on court 6, so I'm going to go ahead and click on court 6, and it's going to bring up this live score this match button. So whenever I'm done playing against these other 3 players, I can click this start game button at the top, and it's going to go ahead and get me over to my scoreboard. And I'm going to click the top half of the number to go up. So obviously, score Ben wins 11. And the bottom half of the number, let's say I go up to 4 and it was really 3. I click the bottom half of the number to go back down to 3. And now it's 11 to 3. I'm going to go ahead and submit the score. It's going to take them off the court. It's going to put us, or there we go. We're off the court. And now we're waiting for the second game to end, and it would then go ahead and put both of us, all the games, back onto the courts again. And you can see that we have our standings going. And we would just go ahead and play all of these games until we're done, and we would have our full standings for who won this 7 game tournament where everybody gets to play with everybody once, never plays against somebody twice or with somebody twice, and the system handles all of it. So really, a long tutorial, a lot of stuff to look at, but if you just get the players in, easy peasy with pre-registration. You click create schedule, you make the schedule, you bring it into the round robin tab and let everybody score their games. You can sit there and play this pickleball tournament without actually administering anything, and it's easy peasy. My name is Ben, and I hope you like